Good morning, Meridian, and welcome to Business Buzz. My name is Sean Evans, and welcome to our new social media program where we interview chamber members in the virtual space. Business Buzz asks for about 10 to 15 minutes of your day every episode to introduce you to a chamber member and their business. These webcasts are meant to be informative, casual, and a little fun. We want to share with you the stories behind the business, what makes the owner and operator passionate about opening their doors each day. Sometimes the story of why they started the business is the real inspiration. So about the time you're going for that third or fourth cup of coffee in the morning, take a break and join us to learn about another great business located right here in Meridian. Joining us today for today's episode of Business Buzz is Autumn Kersey. Welcome, Autumn.
Hey,
how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Sean. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So I've had the honor of knowing Autumn for over 10 years, and I've had the pleasure of working with her during my time at the Idaho Business Review. I consider Autumn a friend and someone I can turn to for advice on a range of subjects. As a matter of fact, I turned to Autumn for advice when I decided to leave my newspaper career and go into the nonprofit world because she had started a nonprofit. During our time at the IBR, I saw Autumn turn her passion for theater into a vision for Treasure Valley Children's Theater and to make it a reality. Autumn, can you share with our audience today the need you saw when you were starting Treasure Valley Children's Theater and the impact your program has on young people you serve?
Absolutely. I think my need at the time 8 years ago was really somewhat selfish. I wanted my skills and talents to have an impact on our community. And I knew that I was very gifted in working with kids and decided to take some of the lessons I'd learned through the business owners that I'd met at the Idaho Business Review and take the plunge and create Treasure Valley Children's Theater, really with the sole purpose of empowering young people to become great leaders, just using theater as my toolbox.
Well, excellent. Autumn, can you tell us a little bit about, what the theater does and the engagement that you have with students?
Absolutely. So we work with kids from across the Treasure Valley. Right now, we're averaging about 1,000 kids a year in our education programs. And we're serving young people in the schools through our fall tour and outreach programs. But everything that we do, while it's theater-based, it's really rooted in our 5 core values. We believe that these 5 core values will help young people set them on the path for a great future and to be a great leader in our community. The values that drive everything we do start with respect. Respect for ourselves as well as respect for others. Certainly in this moment, I think we can all agree that just taking a moment to breathe and respect where someone's coming from can be a great tool as a human being. Our second value is commitment. We challenge our young performers to commit to the process of creating something unique. And sometimes that process is really hard. And that's where we move to our value of courage. The courage to try something new. Sometimes for some young people, that is standing up and singing a solo for the first time. And for other young people, it's taking a step out of the spotlight and letting other people step up. And so we really focus a lot on celebrating moments, small and large, of courage. And then facing courage with enthusiasm. This is one of our favorite values. Our theater kids almost always pick enthusiasm as their favorite value. Enthusiasm is about acknowledging that there is a challenge, something hard that we have to do, but choosing to look at it positively and to be enthusiastic about that challenge. And our 5th goal is excellence. And I love to talk about excellence with our young people because to me, it isn't about being perfect. Perfection is not achievable. Excellence is about trying a little bit harder to do something that was hard a little bit better the next day. Waking up in the morning and choosing what kind of day you're going to have and setting yourself on the course for being the best version of yourself in everything you do. And we teach these 5 core values through 3 key programs at Treasure Valley Children's Theater. Our first program is our Performances for Young Audiences. This is a professional adult company that presents titles like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz and The Wind in the Willows and Little Women. We've done The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. We take those titles out to the community in performance style. Last year, we toured a title that reached 8,000 school kids in 2 months. And then the second thing we do is education. We offer training, workshops, camps, and classes for kids 6 to 18. We offer them year round. And in this current moment, we're offering them in a lot of really creative ways that I think we're going to talk about. So I'll hold off on that. And then the third thing we do, which is really our capstone program, is our performances for our theater for young performances, our performers. These are kids who go through an audition process and spend about 70 hours with our team preparing a really polished performance for our community. But in the process of doing that, practicing all of our values and identifying what they're learning in theater and how they can apply that to the real world, to what they have to do in their school, how they respond and show up for their family, the commitments they make to their other social organizations. And we call that our Young Performers series, of which we've branched off into some youth ambassador programming. And you're all going to get to meet one of those ambassadors here shortly.
That's great, Autumn. I know you're extremely passionate about this. The theater has always been in Meridian, but you've found some challenges in finding a permanent home for the theater. Where are you located now?
Well, we're currently in a great little space, about 3,300 square feet off of Meridian Road and Penwood, just on the outset of downtown Meridian. We've made this space our home the last couple of years and gotten real creative with the walls there in making sure that we can continue to deliver programming for kids. We hope to stay in this space for a couple more years, but we continue to explore opportunities to work with other organizations and community groups to create more of a performance hall, multi-purpose space for our community here in Meridian.
Excellent. The Treasure Valley Children's Theater has been wildly popular in the community with your live productions that you mentioned a few, Annie, Lion King Jr., The Wind in the Willows. In recent, now current times, we can't gather in public together. We can't, have live events with crowds. How is the theater adapting? What are some of the things you're doing to adapt to this?
Yeah, we teach the kids that a challenge is an opportunity. And while this was a challenge that none of us were quite prepared for, it also was the type of challenge that forced us to flex our brains and to really use the skills that theater teaches us, which is to be able to pivot and to pivot with enthusiasm and with courage. And that is what we did. We were in closing dress rehearsal for our spring musical, Mary Poppins Jr. And we, of course, needed to put a pause in that. And it was a real tough choice, but it was the right choice. We had 220 kids enrolled in classes in March, and we put a pause on those classes for 2 weeks, but we're really successful in moving them online. So on April 1st, we had 220 kids join us in a virtual classroom, and they completed their spring training. And then stepping into summer, we reevaluated offering online experiences for families, but also putting together small groups of 8 with 2 teacher classes, socially distanced, taking all of those precautions into consideration so that we could continue to deliver programming for kids. We also started talking to our partners. Who do we need? How can we be an asset in this moment? I think a lot of folks think of theater or recreational activities as an extra, and we needed to be an asset. So we reached out to the school districts, and really excited. Starting in September, we'll be providing theater extracurriculars for kids in Boise online schools and in West Ada online schooling. So we're really excited about that partnership. Just the opportunity to connect with kids whose families have opted for the online school model is really exciting, that we can share what we do with them in this virtual space. But we also have,
you've got great passion and vision for this, but you can't do it alone.
No.
Who else do you have to help you with all this?
I'm so glad you said, because I was just going to I really have to introduce our artistic director, Mary Jensen. So Mary's going to pop in. Hi, Mary.
Hello.
I want Mary to tell your viewers about how we have pivoted performance programming and how we're sort of responding in this moment to that.
Excellent. Well, hello. Thank you for having me. I'm actually here live at the TVCT studio today, so I'm thrilled to be a part of this with you. And pivot has been definitely one of our buzzwords around here at Treasure Valley Children's Theater. And one of the ways we've been able to do that is to work through a virtual performance. That sounds a little daunting, and it is for sure, but it's the one way that we could really come together and figure out how to be able to offer performance programs for our young people that, if you've ever met a theater kid, they live and breathe performing, and you cannot take that away from them for 8 months. So we had to figure out how to meet their needs in this virtual performance. You heard a little bit about our youth ambassadors, and hopefully you'll hear a little bit more. They are some of our kind of in-depth theater kids, the kids that have really worked with us for a long time or have a lot of skills and knowledge that wanted to continue and go farther. They also are our leadership kids. They wanted an opportunity to learn leadership skills, life skills, and really become members of our community that are practicing those skills within the communities that we are a part of. So they decided to help us try a virtual show. And we found a script called 10 Ways to Survive Life in a Quarantine. And we gave this script to our ambassadors. They each got a monologue that they prepared and worked with individual mentors through the screen. We never actually came in person to any of these rehearsals, but they worked hard. They put it together. They put their own sets together. They figured out their own lighting. They figured out their own camera angles. It blew all of our minds to see them go through this process and make it happen. And the rehearsal process ended actually last week, and now it is in the editing stage. So it's all coming together. We're super excited about it. And I think we have a little preview for you today if you guys are interested.
We get a little sneak peek. That's
Absolutely. Great. Absolutely. Are you ready?
Yeah. Good.
Okay, well, I'm going to move us into our classroom. Today we have Kinsley Wardle, one of our longtime ambassadors and TVCT theater kids. I think she started with us when she was about 8 as the starring role of the elephant bird in Seussical the Musical. She's here with us now to present, and I'm going to turn the time over to Kinsley.
My name is Kinsley Wardle, and I'll be performing the role of Allison from 10 Ways to Survive Life in a Quarantine. Hey, thanks, guys. My name is Allison, and I'm here to show you just how great distance learning has been for me. Because it's been a thing. It has definitely been a thing. So the first thing I do is log into my email. And right now, my computer is not on speaking terms with other computers, so that's cool. But it's all right, because I can log in to access the help page the district has made. Which is currently offline, which is fine, so I can't get to that. I've also forgotten my password, so I can't get a new one sent to me because there are a lot of requests for new passwords or something. I don't know, there's only so much internet, and it doesn't reach my house. It's cool, it's fine. I am working through it. Low battery? What does that mean?
That was awesome!
Great job.
A little taste. You're going to have to wait till you can see the whole thing.
Well, that's great. Oh, man, amazing. I can't wait to see all the monologues. Thank you, Mary. We appreciate you coming on with us today and giving us a little bit of treat.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Autumn, how can a parent, grandparent, or potential supporter of the theater find out more about your upcoming productions and ways that they can get involved?
Thanks. Thanks, Sean. We, of course, treasurevalleychildrenstheater.com, our website, we really work hard to make sure that information is all there for you if you have an interest. We just opened fall enrollment yesterday, so that is now available for families to check out. We have adjusted our fall programming this year, so you have many opportunities, online only, some online, some in person. We call that hybrid, or in person, but very small groups with social distancing and protocols in place. We invite you to come check that out. We have a lot of programs offered this fall in 6-week blocks, so they're nice and short, give you a lot of flexibility with your fall planning. We, as I earlier mentioned, we have a partnership now with the school districts, and we'll be offering programming for families. We are actively looking for businesses and sponsors and donors who are interested in underwriting some of that programming, in helping make sure that a young person has access. So if you're interested in that, again, the website will give you some general information, but I am always available and happy to chat with anyone who has a heart for young people and for helping us change the world one theater kid at a time.
Autumn, thank you so much for joining us today. We wish you the best and encourage everyone in Meridian to support the Treasure Valley Children's Theater. And thank you for being a member of the Meridian Chamber of Commerce.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So please join us next Tuesday as we introduce you to a new chamber member, an innovative new business that's solving one of the tasks that you never think that has an easy solution. And that's bins of steel. And we'll be joined by owners Michelle and Augustine Pereira. So in the meantime, please do your part and keep Meridian healthy and open for business. Thank you.